Hey, all right, what's up, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist. I'm doing a little painting here, so I started painting it, and then I told myself, why don't you just record it? That way other people can enjoy it as well. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much for watching, and here we go. Okay, so here's my little dudes right there. They're walking. They're walking, baby. Don't tell me you can't see them walking, because they're walking. They're going somewhere. Where are you guys going? Where are you guys going and stuff? So I want to be able to create some depth here. Let's anchor them. They call that anchoring. When you put a shadow, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your shadow looks like, where it's going. If it's going that way, it's going this way. It doesn't matter as long as you do something. Just do something. It don't matter what. Hell, man, you might even discover something no one else has ever done. That'll be some very tough shit. But it could happen. It could happen. And if it does, please let me in on the secret. I want to know. I want to see what you're doing that no one else has done in art. Not because I want to do it, but I love seeing artists do very strange stuff, stuff that just makes no sense, but it feels good to the soul. It looks good. That's the kind of work that I like to do. Stuff that you're like, the hell are you doing, dude? And it just feels right. There's no rhyme, reason. There's no. I used to be a musician, and I very fast I learned that good music is played that way. Of course, in the beginning, you learn your ABCs and you start playing, in a way that makes sense to everybody. But after a while, I feel like a musician becomes somewhat of a poet, and you start rhyming notes, if you can call it rhyming, reciting notes that just make no sense. They just don't. They make no sense, but they make sense to the soul. They just make no sense to the cognitive aspect of your brain, but they make sense to the soul, and that's really the most powerful thing. I think that's transformational, in my humble opinion. Okay, I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff, but I do know when something feels good. When something feels good, it doesn't really matter how or what you're doing. This is why Jackson Pollock was such a winning artist. Let's call him winning artist. For that reason. Winning, of course, in the eyes of probably him and society. Or at least that certain part of society. It was very new. Usually when something is new, it's not clever. When something is truly new, it's not clever. Its newness comes from the wonder of the silent mind. That's where the newness comes from. The wonders of the silent mind. And then you're able to recognize and create something new, truly new. I'm getting all poetic and shit, and I just started. Yeah. I want to thank all of you guys who've been following my journey, my path here. I tend to paint either lonely souls walking many times, or sometimes I paint them with a figure that has a sort of like a saint, a holy thingamabobby on their head, and halo, right? A little halo. And the reason why is because I believe, this is just in my mind, right? In my crazy mind, you're being constantly guided. I don't know if you're guided by a holy being, or God, or maybe whatever, right? Whatever. Maybe your parents are walking right next to you, maybe your grandparents if they passed. Maybe I like to believe some of that. I don't know if that's true or not. Really don't care if it's true or not. As long as it's a pure, good, right thing that helps me through tough days, through tough years, tough months. I like to think that I am not walking alone. I am walking in next to me. Something greater than me is by my side, and it's guiding me. And so I tend to paint my figures, sometimes with that extra figure there. Sometimes it's 2 or 3. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 halos and a person, an earthly figure, right? But they're all humanoids, and of course I'm not into ancient alien theories or anything like that, guys. Okay, so please don't start writing to me about that. Okay, hey, to each their own. Okay, I'm not gonna judge you. I'm just telling you, that's not my cup of tea. My cup of tea is not religion. My cup of tea is not conspiracy theories. My cup of tea is I don't even know what my cup of tea is, but it's definitely I like to say it's the better part of most spiritual teachings, of most religions, the better part of them, and they all have a better part. I want to say they all do. They all have a better part, an ancestral part in them that hasn't been hijacked by the ego yet. Whether it's any religion, I'm not gonna name them. You name them. I want to start naming religions, but I think that there's a purity in purity readings. There's a purity in old teachings, right? They're not when a human being is reciting them. When a human being is reciting them, they pretty much lost all purity, unless the human being is just extremely in touch with the oneness, right? That which many of us call God. Unless that human being is in touch with that, then some traditions they call them prophets, other traditions they call them saints, whatever, right? Whatever. Some traditions call them awakened beings. It just means, in my understanding, it just means someone that has transcended mental construct. So they've transcended thought, right? Thought, because thought, mental construct is thought, conceptual constructs. So if they've transcended thought, that means that they have, as the great Jesus Christ said, I call him JC. Some people get upset and they're like, call him by his name. This demon won't let me use his name. I'm just joking. Some people actually do believe that. Hey, it was a joke. Yeah, as the great Jesus Christ said, and I'm not religious, okay, but I love his teachings. I just do. That Jesus resonates with me, and he said, stop the judgment, right? They stop the judgment. One of my favorite quotes when I was a kid. My mother raised me Catholic, uber Catholic, not light Catholic. Okay, this is I'm originally from Mexico. My Catholicism is fucking hard. It's not light Catholic. It's strong. I no longer practice, but the JC and the teachings of the JC forever in my heart. Just because it's just, I found some of the deepest things about truth, what I believe are truths in life, were said by the JC, and sadly, and I will say this sadly, so many of us today still don't get them. We still can't grasp them. That's one of the. Imagine creating a a teaching where you're attempting to help humanity, and then you realize that it was hijacked by the ego, and most of the things that we do, sadly, are hijacked by the strong one, including painting. If we're not careful, it gets hijacked. It stops being about the intention is no longer pure, you know. So anyways, look at that. So it's this dude right here, in my subconscious mind, I believe, because I started doing it subconsciously in the beginning. I didn't realize what, and I was like, just go with it. I didn't really think about it. I didn't do anything. Subconsciously, I started putting this awakened master, angel, whatever we want to call him, next to this other person walking, and you know, life is a journey, right? So it's to me the idea of walking. A lot of people today are like, life is a journey, not a destination. Life is a destination. I don't really think. I don't think it's neither or. I think it's both. I think life in itself is a destination. I mean, fuck it, you're here already. But it's also a journey, right? You're going somewhere. So it's never really. I like to call it I like to call it a destination with a deadline. So it's a destination with a deadline, and so you know, life itself, no, right? But the deeper meaning of life, of course not. But life in the sense of the human form or the forms that it takes is a destination with a deadline. And so I just ran with it, you know. I started painting these beings, and I just kind of ran with it, and that's how I see it. I see it as we're going somewhere, right? And that somewhere is different for everybody, because I think that the lesson is different for everyone. That lesson could be how to be more kind, you know. So that's the journey, long, arduous walk that you have to do. How to listen better, how to be more kind, how to be nothing else but just be. I think that's the lesson that all of us are walking, and going back in a way, right? Going back to beingness, which is pretty fucking lost. So anyways, I don't want to get all mystical here and start crying and shit. So thank you so much, everybody. My name is Jose Trujillo. Check it out. Look, there's my signature. Boom, baby. This painting will be available on my eBay shop. The listing is in where is the listing? Yeah, the listing is going to be on eBay. I'm going to link my listings below on the comments, and that way you guys can go check them out. Whoever wants to get a hold of them. You're more than welcome to. All right, take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.